Andrew Wilkie is, of course, one of the parliamentary kingmakers keeping the Gillard minority government in power. He told the Parliament last night that Labor MP Craig Thomson, quote, must be accorded the presumption of innocence no matter how strong the prima facie case against him. But he also voiced some discomfort with the PM's strong public support for the member for Dobell. Andrew Wilkie is in our Parliament House studio. Andrew Wilkie, welcome back to breakfast.
Good morning, Fran.
On the Craig Thomson issue, what are the unanswered questions in your mind?
Oh, well, I think everyone would be well aware now of all the accusations that are swirling around. One of the most important of which is the suggestion that he had, in fact, lied to Fair Work Australia. I think there is a strong prima facie case, but the problem with that is we're now getting a trial by media, a trial by public opinion, when the man really must be accorded a presumption of innocence. We must let the Fair Work Australia inquiry run its course. If the New South Wales Police are going to do their inquiry, that needs to be let to run its course. In the interim, I think we all should keep our thoughts to ourselves, including the Prime Minister.
And yet, you said last night you're uncomfortable with the Prime Minister's strong public show of support for the member of Dobell. I mean, why shouldn't the Prime Minister stand by a backbencher, as you say, who should be presumed innocent until proven guilty?
Well, the Prime Minister early on, now she has backed off a little in recent days, but at the start I thought she was quite effusive about Craig Thomson and said he was a very good member and would be in his seat for a very long time.
He may be, I suppose, a good local member in her view.
Well, that's right, but I think this is a highly charged affair now. I think it's better for both the Prime Minister and the opposition leader, for that matter, and the people he commands, to just back off and say something like, these are very serious allegations. We must let the inquiries run their course, and in the interim, let the member go about his business. And frankly, I think he should have stayed on as the chair of the committee. He's either fit to sit in the Parliament or he's not. You can't be half fit to sit in the Parliament. I think he should have stayed on as the chair of the committee.
Do you want a police investigation into Craig Thomson?
I want the appropriate authorities to do what they think is necessary. I'm not an investigator. I don't know the facts of the matter. The New South Wales Police, I understand, are investigating whether or not they will do an investigation, and they're the people best placed to make that decision.
Do you want Craig Thomson to front up to the Parliament when the opposition calls for him again this morning?
I will support that opposition move. It's unfortunate that the opposition attempt to have Craig Thomson front the Parliament the other day, it ran out of time and the final vote on suspending standing orders didn't occur. I would have supported that attempt to suspend standing orders, and if it comes on again, I will support it.
So do you think that Julia Gillard's, as you say, effusive support for the member for Dobell reflects badly on her? Is that what you're saying?
No, look, I don't want to make more of this than it is, Fran.
I guess what I'm getting to, I wondered, is your discomfort, is it giving you any reason to consider your support for the Gillard government?
No, not at all. Look, I made a comment, and I chose my words very carefully. I felt some discomfort. I didn't think it was the right thing to do, and it's not how I would have done it. But the issue here is not the Prime Minister. Generally, she's handling this well. The issue here is the inquiries into Craig Thomson's behaviour, allowing them run their course, in the interim giving him a presumption of innocence. And if we're going to talk about the behaviour of politicians, it's not just the Prime Minister. I think the opposition leader could probably pull a few of his own team back into line who have been out there speaking very, very strongly about Craig Thomson, when they too should be allowing the inquiries to run their course.
This is a product of the minority government, isn't it? Such a finely balanced parliament. I mean, if the government had a comfortable majority, do you think this issue would be heating up like this?
No, I don't think it would. And in fact, if we look at the Senate, the Liberal Senator for South Australia, Mary Jo Fisher, there is a legal case running its course against her for alleged shoplifting. Now, we've hardly heard a squeak out of any member of Parliament about that matter because she's not holding a crucial seat.
You say that you think Julia Gillard's doing a good job. Clearly, according to the polls anyway, a lot of people don't agree with that. And this week we've had the Convoy of No Confidence giving voice to a number of grievances, people making long-haul trips to Canberra to call for an early election. Do you think this call for an early election is gaining momentum? Are you finding that in Tasmania as you move about?
Well, interestingly, Fran, I'm not finding that in Tasmania. Now, I get every day, my office gets hundreds and hundreds of emails, letters through the post. My phone lines often are clogged with telephone calls, but they're coming from around Australia. I'm getting next to no negative feedback from within my own electorate of Denison, and surprisingly little within Tasmania. I think the ALP is probably travelling better in Tasmania than on the mainland. And that's something we saw at the federal election 1 year ago, when there was in fact a noticeable swing to the ALP at the federal election across Tasmania, except for my seat, of course, quite at odds with the swing against Labor on the mainland.
According to Labor MPs, where they're not travelling well are in some marginal seats in New South Wales in particular, seats like Lindsay, Greenway, DeBell, Robertson, Eden, Monero, Page, where they're being maximum pressure over the Your Pokey reforms, worse than the carbon tax, they're telling their Prime Minister. Do you have sympathy for these MPs? Basically, you and you alone are the one causing this trouble for Labor in these electorates.
Fran, yes, I do feel sorry for my colleagues. It's not my intention to cause them angst. But at the end of the day, they are having to go out and sell this policy to their constituents, and so be it. They are only in government because the Prime Minister agreed to this 1 year ago. There's much focus on me and the fact that that I'm holding the government to this, and I will continue to hold the government to it, and I think we will succeed.
But these MPs say, why is that fair? You're one vote, and yet you're holding this position. So many other Australians don't agree with it.
Well, I don't know about that assertion, Fran. There's been a number of polls now, including a very credible poll by the Australian National University a few weeks ago, which put support for poker machine reform, and specifically for mandatory pre-commitment, at about 3 out of 4 Australians. I think on this issue, I'm in fact representing a vast number of Australians, in the millions, and that's certainly the feeling I'm getting from the feedback from around the country. And I make the point again. It takes two to tango. Yes, I'm pushing this, but the Prime Minister didn't have to agree to it, and she did agree to it 1 year ago, and I'll hold her to that.
Andrew Wilkie, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, Fran.
Andrew Wilkie is the Independent MP for Denison. It's 12 minutes to 8 on Breakfast.